I am tripping balls right now. I'm at my friend's cabin, and the last 2 hours have been insane. I'm trying to make sure I write all of this down so that I don't forget it later. Some backstory: I've got this old friend, let's call him Kevin. We were really tight growing up, but as we both got older, we started to have less and less in common, and so we naturally drifted apart from each other. He's got his stuff together, he's loaded, has a great career, loving wife, and lots of hobbies. I, on the other hand, am a bit of a burnout. I do temp work for money, and then I spend it all on partying. I was surprised when he reached out to say that we should hang out together, just him and I. He wanted to rekindle our friendship and find some common ground again. He said we could go to his cabin, get effed up, and catch up on all of the missed years. I jumped at the opportunity to see a goody two shoes like Kevin completely trashed, and so here we are. He drove me out to the cabin, and before we entered, he took out 2 pills for us to take. Coolest thing he's ever done in his life. He said it was premium stuff and that it would absolutely F us up. I'm always down for a drug-filled adventure, so we popped them and then headed inside the cabin. The pills kicked in instantly. As soon as we got inside, everything immediately felt like the craziest, most intense hallucination ever. We're sitting in the living room of his cabin right now. Here's some of the stuff that I've been seeing over the last 2 hours. The room is busy, but not with people. It's filled with these really long, tall, ghoulish looking things that are walking around the room. Their bodies are covered with black fur, but their heads are bright yet dark. It's hard to explain. Wherever they walk, the area is illuminated, but if you actually look at their faces, you can't really tell where their eyes or mouths are. Some of them have large wings. If I look up, I don't see a ceiling. Instead, the room just stretches really, really long. Far away, at the very top, it looks like there's some sort of dark silver shimmering upside down pool. I hear this croaky, deep giggling coming from all over the room. It feels really, really loud in my head. Definitely the strongest auditory hallucination I've ever experienced. I've been asking him over and over to tell me what he slipped us, but he's been really tight-lipped on what the drug is. I've been doing some googling to see what kinds of drugs elicit hallucinations like this, but no luck so far. I'm amazed, with how effed up I am, that I'm able to write this lucidly. I'm currently trying to figure out how Kevin is dealing with this trip. Sometimes he walks off around the house, whispering under his breath. I see him slowly setting candles around the room on a large rug, kind of feels like a fire hazard. He's been a pretty clean guy all of his life, and so I'm wondering if this whole thing is too much for him and he just needs an activity to distract himself. I'll keep an eye on him. I'm interested to see when this trip will start simmering down a bit. The hallucinations haven't really changed or morphed in any way. I'm still hearing and seeing the exact same stuff. Whenever I get up to walk around, all of the tall, ghoulish looking demons start looking at me. Trippy. It's starting to feel just a little bit claustrophobic. I asked him if I could take a walk outside, but he said that it was a pretty bad idea to leave right now, and that we should just stay in the living room and chill out. There was a point where he looked a bit distracted while setting out the candles, so I quickly snuck over to his kitchen and tried to open the door to the outside. I just wanted to get a couple minutes of fresh air. It was weird, even though I unlocked the door, I couldn't open it. It almost felt like it had been barricaded shut on the other side or something. I tried opening some of the windows instead, but those wouldn't budge either, no matter how hard I tried. I eventually asked him why he was lighting candles and putting them around the room in the weird pattern he was setting them in. But he just said he wants to make sure we have a lot of light for when it gets dark, not really sure what that means. He's been starting to seem more and more stressed and focused over the last little while. I've been asking him if we should seriously figure out a way to come down from this trip. After all, the hallucinations haven't let up. And the giggling from the room actually seems to be getting louder and louder for me. He just keeps saying back to me that we need to get to the end. We're almost there now. Okay, if he did his research then that's fine I guess. Oh, right, another weird thing that I've been seeing. This might be overthinking, but it feels like as he's walking around the room, he's reacting to the same stuff that I can see. Like, he's making sure not to bump into any of the ghoulish looking demons, and anytime the giggling from the room gets too loud, he covers his ears. Usually, when people trip out, the experience is always different, so I'm wondering if this drug elicits very similar experiences in its users. He's been really starting to lose it over the last few minutes. The room is starting to turn red for me, and it feels like the general energy in the room is getting more and more intense, like it's building up to something. He just said, "I'm sorry man, they were just sugar pills, you're not actually on anything." Jesus Kevin, it's just a bad trip, suck it up and we can get through this. He continued, "I just needed a distraction so that you wouldn't question what was going on, but I shouldn't have dragged you into this. We're gonna have to wait until the end of the ritual now." Effing hell, I think he's really going down a rabbit hole and starting to lose his mind. Anyone have any advice here? I have no idea what he had us both take, or how long it'll be until things start calming down. I'll keep editing this post with updates. Edit, alright. So it's been a few more hours. The hallucinations are still happening. He keeps telling me this is real, and that he's sorry. This is the weirdest trip of my life. The room is darker now. I guess those candles did help. The deep giggling in the room has turned into a low hum. It's almost song-like. Kevin and I are sitting next to each other on the couch. He keeps guiltily looking at me. The tall demon-like creatures are illuminating the center of the room. They are huddled in a circle, standing near the candles. A crimson-red light is emanating from where they stand. They're speaking in a language I can't understand. One of them looks different from the others. It's reading from a book. It periodically turns its head to look at me. I'm just trying to ignore what's happening in front of me. Kevin hasn't gotten up since he finished arranging the candles. When he isn't looking at me and apologizing, he's whispering some prayers under his breath. To everyone in the comments who is saying that Kevin isn't lying and this is indeed a demonic ritual, you're definitely not helping me feel any better. I'm hoping I can come down from this soon and laugh about how crazy this trip was. But, on the insane chance that this is actually real and I've been pulled into some effed up ritual, how do I get out of this? What's strong enough to smash a sturdy window, if it came to it? I'll follow up soon. Edit 2. Kevin's been emotional over the last while. I finally asked him what the F all of this was. This is what he said. 5 years ago, I came to the cabin alone to find some center. Life was okay but it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. No matter how hard I worked, it felt like I kept bumping into some ceilings I couldn't overcome. That's when they approached me. They told me that they could help me obtain the life of my dreams. Everything that I wanted to happen. They said there'd be a trade-off in the future. They made me sign something with my blood. I didn't really think it'd work out, but it did. And life has been amazing, and I want it to stay amazing. But they told me that I now need to honor the contract. They want my life, man, my perfect effing life. I can't throw it away, I don't wanna die. And so, as the day came closer, I asked them if they were open to an adjustment on the arrangement. If I found another soul, would they give me another 5 years? They seemed intrigued, and they told me to bring a replacement. "And so you effing brought me," I responded. I needed to find someone who would be comfortable coming all the way out here with me. When I thought about everyone in my life, I tried to pick someone who the fewest people would miss. And it was you, man. I'm sorry. Damn, that was a gut punch. You're not really utilizing your life to its full potential, man. I always told you, so I'm really sorry that. He kept going, but I just tuned it out. He was going back and forth between being apologetic and justifying his decision to make me a effing sacrifice. I look out at the room with my heart racing. The low chant is louder than it's ever been before. The demons standing in the middle of the room are all looking at me now. The one holding the book approaches me. Shoot. The demon opens the book and holds it out in front of me. On the page are signals and insignias I can't understand. You need to sign with your blood. Here, use this, Kevin says. He holds out a small razor blade and hands it to me. I'm not gonna do this, I say back. You have to. Deep down, I'd known it since I stepped foot in the cabin. This wasn't a trip. I shouldn't have been in denial this whole time. And now, there's a demon in front of me holding out a book. I hear the low hum in my head. The room lights up, bright crimson. I thought about taking the razor blade and slicing Kevin's throat. But, if this was truly the end of the line for me, I didn't know if committing one last sin before death would tip the scales for me to go to heaven, if such a place even exists. I'm not sure if I was fully in control when I sliced my finger and let the blood spill over the book. It happened, and I thought I'd immediately be pulled into hell. Or devoured by the ghoulish creatures in a painful fashion. Instead, the demon closed the book and returned to the center of the room with others, standing by the candles. I told Kevin that I was gonna run for it. That I hope these fucking beings, whatever the hell they are, torture him for the rest of eternity. He told me that if I tried to escape after signing the agreement, that I'd be put through a fate worse than death. F that. I'm not gonna believe the guy that brought me here to save his own sorry self. I might be a degenerate, but I'm not a narcissistic evil lunatic. Idiot. I'm typing this on a phone that is now covered with blood. I sliced my finger deeper than I should have. It's still bleeding. Kevin and the demons have been rearranging the candles in the center of the room. The cabin is noisy, a mix of loud hums, chants, screams, and low giggles. The ritual is building to its climax. Kevin just finished organizing the candles. You need to come to the center of the room and lie down in the middle of the candles. This is the end, now. I'm sorry, man. I'm scanning the room one last time for anything that can save me. Any Deus Ex Machina or last minute escape plan I can muster up. There's no safe rooms, no exits. The doors aren't going to work. They're all waiting for me. All I see is a vase beside the couch. And some large logs in the fireplace. I need to pick one to smash the window with. I'm gonna make a break for it. Edit 3. I did it. I escaped. I picked the vase and it actually worked. I smashed the window, and I jumped out to escape the cabin. As I was jumping out, I could feel an immense force pulling me back in. The sound of the demons in my head, with their low hums turning into loud screams. But I made it. As I was running further and further away, I could hear Kevin's blood-curdling shrieks. They sounded inhumane. I guess the demons defaulted to their original agreement. Yes, I'm bleeding all over. The glass from the broken window scraped the hell out of me during my escape. And yes, I really don't know where the F I am. But I'm out, and freedom feels good. I've got a new lease on life now. Not gonna take anything for granted anymore. I'm gonna pursue my dreams, gonna make something of myself. So, I might need some help from commenters. Concrete, Washington is effing weird. I've been running for the last half hour in what feels like a never-ending forest. It just keeps going, and the forest looks bizarre. The trees look different from any I've ever seen in my life before. Also, not sure if some sort of astrological event is happening tonight, but the whole sky is glowing crimson red. In every direction I look. That's the same for you guys too, right? I'm gonna keep running. I'll find a way home. I always do. This is gonna be my last update. If you can spare a moment, hold a positive thought in your minds for me. Sayonara.